Right, here I am back in the workshop with this Royal Enfield Super 5, which I rode nearly a week ago, and I've had this engine cover off so that I could get access to the gear change mechanism and see if I can sort of tighten its action up a little bit, and hopefully eliminate or reduce missed gears and false neutrals. And this hasn't got, I might have an example, it's an earlier type, it doesn't have this stop plate fitted, which later versions do. It can retrospectively be fitted if you change this part here to have a sort of extension of that rivet sticking out to work in the slotted window of this thing. But anyway, instead of all that, what these earlier ones have, you can see one there, is these stop screws, which sort of stop the gear change mechanism moving too far, or supposedly stop it moving too far each way when you're changing gear. But this one was moving too far, so what I did, what we got here, I had back when I was trying to sort out the Crusader Racer, I made up some slightly oversized stop screws. They're the standard ones there, and I had two pairs of oversized ones in different oversizes, and I've put a pair in there now, which has just reduced the overall window of movement for the gear lever, and I've been able to get the gears appearing to select satisfactorily on the bench, at least when I rotate the rear wheel and operate the gear lever, so I'm hoping that that's all alright. And I thought, well, I had the cover off, I put a degree wheel and a plunger in the plug hole and mark off the timing, top dead centre and full advance firing positions. And whether the camera will pick this up, whether we can see it or not, the timing actually didn't seem to be far out, but there was some funny stuff going on with the points gap that I didn't like. And on rotating it, if you watch the points cam and the bolt in the centre of it, there's a throw. There's the ramp that's supposed to open the points, and it is, but it's all wrong. It's not, the starting ramp of the cam is not doing anything on the heel of the points, and there's such a throw that whole cam is turning off centre with such a wobble on it. I'm going to take this off and get in there and have a look to see either something's bent or hasn't been fitted properly, so I'm going to take a look at that next and see if I can improve on that. Okay, a bit more progress with this Royal Enfield Super 5, and where we saw the cam and the advanced retard mechanism that operates the points spinning and wobbling about previously, I've changed this part of it, which is quite sort of badly distorted, out of shape and bent, so replacing that seems to have done the trick, and we've got a more sort of what you'd expect to see kind of operation going on with the cam now. It seems to be opening the points as it should, and not wobbling around so much. So I'll spin the engine, and hopefully we might see the centre of that, where the bolt is, the head of the bolt and everything. There's no sort of throw as it spins now. It's spinning far more truly, if you like, and also the points are opening as they should on the cam. Here we are, we're just coming up to opening now. See, there's the I've got my full advance mark on the rotor there, and the T is top dead centre, and we're just coming up to points opening there. Hopefully you can see that, and there we go, open. And also we go back to the full advance mark. Yeah, if I grab the cam with the pointy pliers and turn it, hopefully we'll see this. It's difficult to hold the camera and do this, but hopefully You just see the points as I twist the camera around to full advance, the points are just breaking open, and there we are on the full advance line. So the timing is correct anyway, statically. I could verify it with the strobe, but I bet it'll be bang on. So all that's sorted, and I did comment when I rode this bike that although it seemed to pull well from the bottom end up to the sort of mid-range speeds, it seemed to lose a bit of interest higher up, and I think it could have been down to this, because it probably wasn't advancing up as it should have done, even though the static top dead center timing was correct. Because of the way the cam was opening the points, it wasn't actually doing anything at all until it had just got past where the points would normally be fully open. So then advancing from there wouldn't really make any difference. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a better effect from the auto advance mechanism now, and it might sharpen up the top end performance a bit. I'm not worried about the gearbox leaking oil, because you can still see it there in the level hole. It's been stood overnight. It was actually over full. I've got that much excess ran out of it, but there is oiliness on the chain and something may be leaking. So I don't think the gearbox is the culprit, but I'm going to go in here and have the clutch off and that little inspection door, the access door behind it, off, that gives access to the gearbox sprocket, and just replace the gasket and seal and check around in there, because I think oil might be getting out of the clutch and engine side, if you like, and blowing out onto the chain. So I'm going to have a look and investigate that, and once that's done I'll probably take another ride on it and hopefully see that perhaps the upper end of the rev range performance has improved a bit, and we'll hopefully get that leak stopped with any luck. So that's where we're going with it next, but we're finding little things all the time and sorting them out, and it'll all make for a better bike in the end. Right, for my next trick I'm going to try and get some footage of me strobing this bike's timing. I just want to verify it by strobe. I'm pretty sure that it probably will be alright, but I'll be able to see whether or not it's advancing up properly when I rev it. I'm going to put the camera down here. Hopefully it might pick up what I'm doing if I stand to one side out of the way. Just hope the camera doesn't fall over while I'm at it. Try there. Hopefully we can see the rotor, and I'll stand away from it with the strobe and we'll see what happens. Possibly the camera might fall over if and when the engine starts, but let's have a go. The camera can pick that up. But trying to hold the strobe and the camera with one hand is not brilliant. Whether the camera picked that up or not, I don't know. It is advancing up, not by as much as I would have thought I would have liked to have seen, so I'll look into that. But it is working and it's timed correctly, but I thought that it might drop to a more retarded position than that when the revs are off. I'll back the throttle off, the tick over screw up a little. Dropped away a bit, but not as much as I'd like to have seen. I just put the camera back here a moment. Stay. Full advance is where it wants to be. Let's see if I can again, perhaps need about 3 hands to do this. Bear with me, folks. Actually, what I can do there, I revved it a bit harder. I can actually back some advance off a little, and it is dropping away more now that I slowed the tick over down. I think we might be alright with that. It's certainly got to be better than it was. So a little bit of fine tuning, some adjustment. I'll back the ignition timing back off. I'll put the camera down here again. Make life a bit easier. Just a little over advanced, perhaps. That's better. There we go, I'll try this once more. Got the massive tick over again now. Stop now. It's dropped away a good bit there. Well, I hope the camera picked that up. You may have to take my word for it, but that's better now. So I'll get into the clutch side now, investigate that potential oil leak, and then once I've dealt with that, it'll be road test time again, all being well. Right, well, I've done everything I need to do on the other side of the engine of this Royal Enfield Super 5, and I'm back over here on the primary drive side, and I've got the clutch off and the little access cover behind it off, and the seal in the access cover is in very good condition. I've checked it because I've had the that long sleeve nut off the gearbox sprocket and checked the fit of it inside the seal, and it is really good. So even though I've got a new seal ordered, I don't need to wait for that because the seal is fine. But the gearbox sprocket nut itself was loose, even though it's got the little lock screw in there. I found that when I took the cover off, I could grab hold of the nut and just wobble it like that a bit until it came to a stop either end of the flat against the grub screw. So I've had that off and had a look at it, cleaned everything out and put it back on, and I've probably screwed it up another turn or more perhaps to tighten it. And there's a little felt seal inside there too. I had noticed that the gearbox sprocket was quite oily, as is the chain, as I've already seen, and the rear sprocket. be able to see that the teeth look shiny and wet, perhaps, I don't know. But I think a combination of things have happened here, with the gearbox being rather overfilled with oil, and this being loose, and the felt seal inside it obviously not being squashed up nice and firmly. Some oil has been seeping out of the gearbox very slowly via the main shaft and the sleeve gear and the loose sprocket nut. So I've cleaned everything up, tightened it all up, and I've put some well seal sealant there and on the back of the gasket on this cover, which is in, the gasket is in good condition. I've already said the seal is as well, so I'm going to put that all back together now, and I think, I'm hoping that that will sort the problem out, and the chain will no longer get as oily as it did. Fingers crossed.